Hello, and welcome back to the Studio I podcast. It is late, so we're cozy on the couch today. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. I also know that this plan behind me is more than did, but I don't feel like taking it away. So it's gonna stay there. In today's podcast episode, I want to talk about success, and mainly that hard work is not necessarily the key to success. And you might think that I'm crazy for saying that, or you might not, and you're like, duh. But hard work isn't the key to success. Will you need to put in the work? Of course. Will you have to spend a lot of time to achieve your goals? Yes, probably. But hard work alone is not gonna be what's gonna make you successful. And let me explain you why. And I know that success isn't the same for everyone. It can mean different things to different people. For some people it is money, for others it's a highly successful and rewarding career. Other people just want a slow and peaceful life. Whatever it is, this applies to any form of success. But first, before we move into what solutions we have and what actually is the key to success, I want to talk a little bit about what the problem is with hard work and why it actually isn't the key to success. The first point being that hard work is not necessarily the right work. You might be grinding away all the time, but actually doing the wrong things that won't get you results in the end. If you, for example, want to start a business, it is very tempting to start doing all the fun things and spend a lot of time on that. And then you are working hard. But that's not necessarily what's going to get you sales. It's not necessarily what's going to make you grow. For that, you might have to do the things that you don't like doing or that you hadn't thought about. Just working hard can result in a lack of direction and cause you to get stuck in a loop of always doing more without stopping to think about what you are actually doing and whether this will get you closer to your dreams, yes or no. Because success also has to feel like success. You might be at the top and still feel like you're leading a miserable life. And then we can hardly call that successful, can we? The hard work might not be the right work, but it's also something that you can't sustain forever. You can't sustain keeping on working so hard for the rest of your life. Then you will burn out. We are living through a burnout generation with people falling out left and right. And let that be proof to you that hard work isn't the solution. And it is incredibly hard to maintain a 10 to 12 hour workday every single day. There might be periods in your life where you work a lot more, or there might be days when the inspiration is flowing and all of a sudden 15 hours have flown by. And those days are totally fine, but working hard all the time is impossible to do forever. And if your whole structure of success in your life is built on always putting in hours and hours of work, the moment that you crumble under that pressure, your whole system of success crumbles with you. So that's why we want to avoid to base success on just putting in those hours and just working really hard. And lastly, what I touched on is the form of success that we often achieve by working hard is seldom a form of success that makes us feel completely fulfilled on the inside. So it might be that you have an extremely successful career or that you're at the top of company XYZ, but if you are not happy there, then you aren't successful. Success needs to come from within, not from outside of yourself. So if it isn't hard work, then what are some other ways that you can reach success in your life? Basically comes down to taking the time to absorb and to think, to not always be stuck in that output phase. Think of it like a triangle. I talked about it before about the idea of being a sponge, that you need to absorb information until you're full and then you can squeeze out the work that you want to do. But there's actually a third part in that system, and that is the time that you sit and you think, the time that your sponge is full of water. And you need that time to reflect, to think, to come up with new ideas, to strategize, to reconnect with your values and the things that you want to be doing before you actually start doing. But often we get stuck in that output phase where we only do. We keep on doing things that come to us, things that we see right in front of us, instead of taking the time and assess what the things are that we actually need to be doing. Because often 20% of the things you do can create 80% of your output. But often enough, we spend 80% of our time on the other things that only give us 20% of that success. How do you implement this in your day-to-day life? Schedule time to think. Actually schedule in periods in your calendar, in your week, to sit and to think and to reflect on the things that you want to be doing. This can be an hour a day, this can be 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes. You can start every morning with a small journaling session, but make sure that you keep time in your schedule to actually think and reflect on where you're going. Same goes for absorbing. Make sure that you have time to absorb. If you're an artist, you need to get inspiration, and you know best where you get that inspiration. That might be from going to museums and looking at other people's art, but that might also be from reading books or hanging out with friends and just being out in the world. Schedule in that time that you need to get that inspiration. If you want to be a successful business owner, you need time to learn. You need time to develop your skills to become better at your craft. So make sure that you make the time to do those things, because that's actually what's going to make you stand out from the rest. Because you have direction, because you have focus, and because you take the time to get inspired, to gain knowledge, which will put you ahead of other people who are still stuck in that hardworking output phase. I've already touched on it, but with that also comes getting clear on what you want. And not necessarily in getting clear in what you want right now, but the bigger picture. Do you know where you want to go? Because it's very hard to reach a goal if you don't know what that goal is. If you don't have a specific career in mind, or a specific place or amount of money that you want to earn, it can be a feeling. It can be a state of mind. It can be a certain type of lifestyle. And then you can figure out what makes up that feeling, what makes that feeling true for you, or what are the parts of that certain lifestyle that you need to achieve. Or it might be a very specific career, or a certain type of business, or a certain type of job, like being a content creator, for example. But if you don't know what you want to do, you will just waste energy flapping around. You need to try to find some sort of focus and then go into that. I have talked about it a million times before, but reverse engineering is your best friend. If you have a goal in mind, it becomes fairly easy to then break it down all the way to the day-to-day steps and actions that you need to take to get there. It might be hard for certain things that you want to do in life, but then you can find and look at other people, how they have done it, and learn from their journey. Sometimes it's not as straightforward. If you want to become the president of a certain country, it might be a little difficult, but at least you know what steps you need to take. And if you need a little help with that, I actually have an ebook. It's called the Dream Life Workbook, and it will help you to find what that focus of your life is. In over 60 pages, you will find out who you are, what you want, where you want to go, and how you can do that. So if that's something that you might be interested in, you absolutely don't have to buy it. But if it's something that you would be interested in, you can find it in the description box down below. Another thing that is incredibly important in being successful is self-love and self-respect. Because if you don't believe that you're going to get where you want to go, you won't get there. You will have to appreciate yourself enough and respect yourself enough to not self-sabotage when you want to get to the places that you want to go. When you start building your dream life, you're going to come up on barriers that you didn't know were there before. You are wired to keep yourself safe in the same place. Our brains want to push us to things that feel familiar. And to get to that point of success, you need to do unfamiliar things. You have to get out of your comfort zone, which then scares our whole entire system, because it's exactly what we are wired not to do. So if you have a system in place of self-respect that helps you to see, and self-love that helps you to see that you deserve to put in that hard work and that you can take care of yourself in uncomfortable moments, then you will get ahead of the people who self-sabotage themselves and who don't know how to comfort themselves and who don't know how to motivate themselves to go where they want to go. Now, I say this like it's easy, and I know that it's not. Self-love and self-respect and getting to know yourself, it takes time. We do that on this channel, so you could subscribe. That could be a way to fix it. But you can also just go and look up journaling exercises, maybe go to therapy, work through the limiting beliefs that you have. And a really, really great book that I want to recommend to you to do that is The Mountain Is You. It's a fantastic book that really goes into depth. I hate that word, can't say it. But that really goes very deep in what your limiting beliefs might be and how you can overcome them. I learned a lot from that book, and I will link it in the description box down below as well. Not only do you need to love yourself to be able to comfort yourself, you also need to be self-aware. You need to know what works best for you, what doesn't work for you. And you also need to know what triggers your limiting beliefs and what triggers your self-sabotaging behaviors. And you need to recognize them. And once you do, you can then start correcting and adjusting your path if things don't work for you. Say you want to become a marathon runner. It's a small goal, but it's still a goal, and it's still something that you can be successful at. If you said that you were gonna go on runs with your friends every single day to train for the marathon, and you notice that one, you don't really like running with other people, and that you actually don't really like running at the time that your friend proposes, if you want to be successful, you have a choice to make. Is it more important to you to spend that quality time with your friends? Obviously, go for the quality time with the friends. Not everything is about being the best at something that you can possibly be. Sometimes it's just spending time with other people. But you can also say, I really want to focus on this marathon. And that is up to you and to notice what isn't working and adjusting your path a little so you can come up with a system that works better for you. A lot of productivity advice online actually says choose a routine and stick with it until it feels natural. I don't believe that. I think that to be successful and to have a life that feels great, you need to allow yourself to figure things out. You need to pay attention to how you feel and to how you react to certain routines, to certain habits, to certain things you do, to then assess whether those things work for you or they don't. Because if they don't work for you, they will never make you successful. But a simple change from running in the morning to running in the evenings might be enough to set you up for success. But you need to be self-aware and you need to notice these things before you can start adjusting them. Another point that doesn't necessarily has something to do with the behavior or the output of what you do, but more so a mindset, is that you need to be chasing internal success to feel successful. Being successful has two parts. You have external success and internal success. External success is the image that you have in your head of someone who's successful. Things that in society we see as being successful. That being successful for a lot of people is being really rich, having a nice house, a nice car, a really rewarding career, often a very highly demanding career. If we think of successful people, we think about lawyers, politicians, surgeons, people who are at the so-called top. And those people probably are successful, but it's an external motivation. It's not something that comes from within. If you are chasing success for the image that it will give you, it will never satisfy you, and you will keep on chasing success, and you will keep on wanting more, because you aren't actually satisfying your internal success. You aren't listening or paying attention to what you yourself see as success. If you are chasing a very highly demanding career in law, but actually your idea of success is being a stay-at-home mom who gets to raise kind and gentle children, you will never feel successful enough in that law career, because you aren't actually honoring that core need for success that you actually have within you. So if you want to feel successful and if you want to feel content in life, you need to go after the things that you really want, even though they might seem as less successful. It's not about the image here. Your dream life, that success that you define for yourself, is for you. It is your dream life. It is not your mother's, your brother's, or the whole society's dream life. It is yours. And you can only make it come to life if you honor what your true dreams are. Not the dreams that other people have set for you, not the expectations of anybody else. And with that comes my last point about success, and that is working for others will rarely make you successful. And with that, I don't mean that you need to start your own business, because it isn't for everyone. It really isn't for everyone. A lot of people are perfectly happy in a career, but you won't be happy if you are chasing somebody else's career. If you are working to make somebody else successful, you need to find a space or a state of mind that allows you to be successful in your own way, that allows you to find success in what you are personally doing. You can't tie your success to the success of the company that you're working for. You need to find ways to be successful at your own job, no matter of how well or bad the company you work for does. Say that you are a salesman and success for the company has been defined as doubling revenue every single year. What if it doesn't? What if it happens to get cut in half? But it's because every other person on the sales team slacked, but you. Are you not successful? I don't think so. You probably made up for half of those sales. So, find ways to define success within that job that you are actually doing, not within what is set as a standard of success. Also, success with working for other people, I also mean chasing the success that your parents set for you. If your parents said that you were going to be a successful doctor, but you don't want to be one, it will never be success for you, because it's not what you want. So, coming back again to that, you need to chase what's successful for you to feel truly successful. I have said successful enough in this episode, so I'm going to end it here. And I hope you got something out of this. I hope it shifted your mindset on success a little bit, and it might help you to leave the idea that hustle culture is the only way behind a little bit. Because I was talking with my therapist about this, like hustle culture is ingrained in us from when we were born, basically. And sometimes it takes more energy. It's not just saying I'm stepping out of it. It is if you start chasing your version of success, and maybe that might be only working 3 days a week and really focusing on doing things well, not more or harder, then you are going in against the stream. And it is not just stopping and standing still and getting yourself out of the race. It is running in the opposite direction through a thick crowd and pushing people out the way. It is hard, but it is incredibly rewarding when you get to the other side. So give it some thought and look at what that success might mean for you and how you can make that come to life. And I wish you all the best of luck in reaching that success. If you like this video, please give it a comment, a subscribe. If you're listening to this on Spotify, please follow the podcast. It means the world to me. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you on Friday. Toodaloo!